Shiro Ishii was a Japanese microbiologist, an army surgeon who served his country during World War II. He first joined the Imperial Japanese Army in 1921, and by 1945, he had earned the title of Surgeon Lieutenant General. But Ishii didn't fight on the front lines. Instead, he was in uni conducting research and experiments on medicine. And during his years of study, he had this disturbing hobby of collecting bacteria as pets. He was fascinated by their microscopic power and how it could be harnessed to affect human bodies. So, by 1927, he began advocating for the creation of biochemical weapons. Think of Ishii as a hyperactive child just itching to go play, and the Japanese military as this rich, ignorant father that just sees all the good in him. What do? They gave him a playground.
Unit 731.
Unit 731 is notoriously known as one of the worst war crimes in modern history, a facility used to test biochemical weapons and every other inhuman experiment you could possibly imagine. From the time it was set up until the end of World War II, over 200,000 people died due to the horrific acts. And the man behind them all was none other than Shiro Ishii. This was the point where sanity was redefined. No human could possibly commit such vile and evil acts without showing any remorse, not even an apology. But after the war, the US gave him immunity in exchange for his research, and he lived a peaceful, quiet life until his death. Shiro Ishii did nothing wrong. That's what he had thought to himself. Despite the monstrous acts he committed, he believed he was doing the right thing for the advancement of science and the protection of his country. He believed it had to be done. There are 7 known layers in the abyss, and the deeper you descend, the greater the cost of return. This is what we're going to be talking about. Made in Abyss is a show that I can't really recommend even though it's one of my favorite animes. If you know, you know. If you don't know, just know that I built that entire opening for a reason, and I'ma build up to that, let me cook. The Abyss is a giant vertical pit that stretches deep into the earth, much like the Marinara Trench. Spaghetti. It's like a separate world filled with ancient relics and creatures unknown to the surface, a remnant of a lost civilization. And humans love that shit. We scour the far ends of the abyss in search for things we don't even know exist. We're like the main characters in a horror movie. Instead of staying the fuck away, we dive head-in into danger. But the abyss is everything to the people of Earth. They exist simply because of it. Brave explorers called cave raiders descend into the abyss with no guarantee of coming back alive. They termed it the curse of the abyss, where the further you descend, the harder it is to come back. Ascending from the first layer would cause dizziness and nausea. Second layer would cause headaches and hallucinations. Third layer, you start losing balance and crash out. Fourth layer, you start bleeding out of every hole in your body. Yes, that includes your ass. Fifth layer, you done chuck a whole pack of LSD. Sixth layer, well, 7 known layers, but no one has ever returned from the 7th, so no one really knows what would happen. Riko is about to find out. Her mom's at the deepest layer of the abyss, so she mails her daughter saying, and I'm paraphrasing, "Dear Riko, I'm not coming back with the milk." Laughing emoji. In fact, I'm not coming back at all. LOL. But I'll be waiting at the bottom of the abyss. Liza. Gun emoji. Now if I was Riko, I'd throw that shit away and go on with my life. But not Riko. The children yearn for the mines, the abyss. It's what they live for. And what better calling than your mom's own daughter reveal party? She could be dead, we don't even know. Riko is what you would call a true adventurer. She was born in the abyss, so I guess you could say she's... This girl makes the most out of every place she's been. While others are pissing their pants vomiting from the curse, she's just a happy explorer. And Rick's just... Rick. Arms like spaghetti, we're going down to Marinara with these two. And most of it we're gonna be seeing through Rick. What the fuck is a Rick? He just suddenly appears in the story and saves Riko's life. Is he a child? A robot? All we know is that he's immune to the curse. He doesn't even know what he is, and that's why he goes down to the abyss. A journey of self-discovery. Funny because usually people climb mountains for that, or go to Australia. I don't know about the abyss. You'll probably die before anything. Or you could do that. There's really only one rule in the abyss. Never ascend. Going up should not even cross your mind. Not even in the deepest shits you found yourself in. Riko and Rick both knew this was a suicide mission. There is no coming back from the depths of the abyss. And they're fine with that. They push on with their lives, traversing further and further and further down into their fate. And they finally reach the fourth layer, a divine garden sculpted by rocks shaped like giant chalices. Ascending now would cause intense pain throughout the body, and you start bleeding from every orifice. Yes, that includes Uranus. But as long as you remember that one rule, you're gonna be fine. Don't ascend, nothing happens. But what if ascending was the only way out? What if midway you get hunted by this massive armored creature that can predict and counter your every move? A strike with its needle-like tail could get you poisoned and paralyzed. In the fourth layer, when ascending is the only option, what do you think is gonna happen? The story tells you this childlike tale about two kids going on an adventure. But if you actually read the manual, you'll find some of the most gut-wrenching scenes you'll ever see in anime. Quick tip: don't eat while watching this. It's not the best meal you have, take it from me. This is the part where it hits you that these two are just helpless little kids in the netherworlds. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. How are they possibly gonna survive this? Nanachi is the best character in the story. You're gonna love this furry. And meaty, you know? Cave raiders are ranked by their whistles. It goes from red, blue, moon, black, and white. White whistles are like legends to the people, and they are cool. Riko's mom is one of them. There's Ozen the immovable, Srajo the mysterious, or Kuna the chosen. And that guy. The name's Bond. Bondrude, aka Papa, aka Shiro Ishii. This guy's probably the most vile character I've seen in fiction. He has this calm demeanor. He's just really polite even as he's dissecting children in front of him. The dude doesn't see emotions. He doesn't see them as humans, only as data and tools for his experiments. They are both monsters that redefine sanity. Bondrude has this facility full of orphans as his experiments for his studies. One of it was to study the curse of the sixth layer, in which ascending would cause complete loss of humanity or even death. Two children were chosen, with one being the sacrifice and one being the recipient. The goal was to have one of them take on twice the effects, so the recipient gets to survive the curse. And what followed was one of the most disturbing and downright torturing scenes you'll ever watch. If it hasn't sunk in yet, this was never a sane show to begin with. The themes are dark, the characters are vile, and while this is one of the most grotesque scenes you'll ever see in anime, it's also one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the story.
Take a seat. I promise I'll get through this. What could be my final form? It's alright. It's gonna be alright.
You see, Made in Abyss isn't just gore and foul. I think the author really fucked this up with how well he writes everything. You're not just watching an adventure, you're experiencing stories alongside the characters. You feel what they're feeling. That's why you love Nanachi. Watching your best friend reduced to an immortal lump of flesh just so more experiments could be done on her, that is beyond cruel. So you tried putting an end to her, but it pains you even more because she wouldn't die. And that's how their paths crossed, and that's how you write an emotional goodbye.
My body's on the line now.
Stop it! I'm so sorry, Minnie. I was wrong. I should have tried more. I'm so sorry. Listen to me. We'll always be together, okay?
Will they still let me up?
Minnie, thank you.
But if it sounded like this,
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
sounds really play your part in how you feel something. And Kevin Pankin crafts these beautiful scores that brings the abyss to life. This is what most isekai authors cream to. Each layer has its own ecosystem and each stranger than the last. It doesn't just contain life, it evolves it. The best was the Golden City. Imagine a fully sustainable capital built deep in the abyss, with its own functioning economy where they hunt monsters and barter for trades. There's even punishment for crime, it's so cool. But behind it was an even sadder story that I genuinely can't bring my heart to watch again. Hearing the cries sank my heart, I just couldn't do it. See, that's what I love about Made in Abyss. There's not only depth to the stories, but to the storytelling itself. Rick was Rick before Rick was Rick. What? You really question the character's actions and sanity at some points, and that reflects the same things going on around the world. I like the anime, but I love the manga. Made in Abyss is a story heavy in dialogue. With the anime, it just brushes past you. Blink for 1 second and you might just miss some important details the author throws in. But if you take the time to read them, you can get really immersed really fast. The art is just one of a kind. I think I've read enough manga to say that this art style is unique, not just within its genre, but across the entire manga industry. The irregular borders of the panels, how each panel flows with intent to pull you deeper into the story. It's essentially like a kid's storybook, but you know that's far from it. And then I read the specials. And then I think back to the times Reddit would say some really weird shit, and now I'm starting to question the author's sanity and if this story is just some sort of weird kink of his. Anyways, the anime is almost caught up to the manga, and it took the author 4 years to release 10 chapters. It is what it is. I wish him the best of health, cause no sane mind could drop a series like this week after week. Not with that level of detail. But I'll wait 4 years if I have to. I'll wait 40 years if it means I get to see this bunch find what they're looking for. You're wrong if you think it's just a story that thrives on its dark themes. No. Because beyond the darkness, there's beauty in the abyss.